Hey guys, this is Mitch. I'm the youth pastor at Fairland First Assembly. This is actually going to be our first episode of, don't really know what this is going to be called, but we have today Kenny and Becky Jordan. They have served in our church for a long, long time, and we are actually going on a mission trip to Africa. And we're super excited about this trip. We're anticipating this trip like none other, because we know that the Holy Spirit's going to be there and He's just going to move in a mighty way. And hopefully what they can share today, hopefully it might spark something in you guys, spark maybe an idea, or maybe if you want to go on a mission trip, maybe they can kind of give you some details on what would the next steps be. So I'm super glad that you guys are here, and honestly, I feel like this video is just going to help maybe spark something in somebody where, hey, like, I can go on a mission trip. Or, I've always wanted to go to Africa. I didn't even know a church in small town Fairland, Oklahoma, like we actually are going to Africa, and it's super exciting. So my first question is, how long have you guys been coming to Fairland First Assembly?
23 years.
23 years. Wow, that's 23 in one location, because you've seen people church hop in our area, and that's in a message of itself, but we won't go there. Two, what is your title at Fairland First Assembly?
My title, I guess, is a missions coordinator.
A missions coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay. To where if we wanted to go on a mission trip, you would be the guy to ask.
Right. I'm the one that sets it up, gets all the fine stuff taken care of, so that we can go.
Okay. So you're saying that missions cost, right?
Yes, it does. It
Yeah,
does.
Yeah.
It costs time, but it costs money too to go.
So any ministry probably costs money.
Yes.
For sure. Why is missions so important to you guys?
Missions is we are sitting in a missions field right here in Fairland. This is a missions field. It's not a foreign missions field, but it's a missions field because there's people here that's not saved. But going on missions to a foreign country like that shows you what God is doing there also, the great and mighty things He's doing there.
100%. So one thing I took from the Chile trip that we went on to back in, was it 2019?
Yeah.
Was it 19?
Yes.
19?
19, yes.
Okay.
So the Holy Spirit, what we experience here is the exact same thing. What we experience 9 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is, 10 hours on a flight, the exact same thing.
Right.
So that encouraged me, be like, okay, like the Holy Spirit is the same here, moving, ministering in a way in Fairland as He is overseas, and I anticipate that that's exactly going to be the same thing.
They will worship Him differently, but it's the same Spirit there that it is here.
Yes.
So awesome. What is your next mission trip? And I know we kind of briefly touched on that, but if you want to kind of elaborate a little bit more.
Well, like you said, we briefly touched on, but in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, we are flying out to Rwanda, Africa, for 10 days.
Do you know exactly where Rwanda is on the map?
Do I? It's basically in the middle of Africa. It's right on the equator.
Okay. Yeah. So is it? And you've already been there, right?
Twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Within a year.
So is it hot? Is it not necessarily cold since it's on?
No, it gets, the high will be 85 during the day, and a low at night it'll get down to 65.
Okay.
But the sun is very intense because you're right close to the sun.
Yeah. So being close to the equator, the sun is a little bit more scorching on you.
Yes.
It's really beautiful there. It's not like maybe pictures we've seen of Africa where we think of it being dry, and so it's very green, rolly hills. It's pictures he brought home. It's beautiful.
You bet. And on this mission trip, are you guys doing anything fun? Like, is there?
We get to safari.
Yeah. So you want to
Yeah.
talk about the safari?
At the end of our trip, the last 2 days, we will go on a safari where we get to go spend the night at the lodge inside the safari, and then we get to go and we will see I forget how many different animals that we don't have in America, like zebras, elephants, rhinoceros,
Lions.
hippos,
That
lions.
are out in the wild.
They're in the wild, yes.
They got chased by a bull elephant last time.
Yes, a bull elephant
He
chase.
didn't want 'em on
I'm
that
sure that
road.
was pretty scary.
It was, but it could
It
have
made
been
good video.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can get some of those pictures and edit a video and stuff and
Okay.
kind of make a promotion
Sure.
video for maybe next year or
Yeah.
2 years or whenever you guys
Yeah.
are wanting to go back
Yeah.
to Rwanda.
Right.
Okay, number 6. What are some of your prayers that the team will bring back with them? Like, because I know you've been praying for this team. You've been praying for people. You've been praying for even the kids that we're going to be ministering to.
Go ahead, you answer that.
Well, you're better to answer it though, because you've been there and you're praying differently. But in my life personally, I just I know that this is going to be different than any other mission trip we've gone on, and that our lives are going to be impacted in a completely different way,
Mm-hmm.
because it completely changed him. The first time he went, he came home different and with a passion. And so for me, my hope and my prayers for the team, including myself who hasn't been to Rwanda, is that God just really wrecks us and impacts our lives
You bet.
in a way like we just beyond our imagination.
And he will.
You bet.
Yeah.
100%. And I mean, I know probably half our team hasn't even been to Africa, or
Yeah.
maybe
Probably
just
more
a
than
little over half hasn't even been.
I think only you and Dan and Dwayne
And
on
Eric.
the team, and Eric.
Yeah.
All the rest of us have not been to Africa. So 3/4 of us.
So you're wanting, your prayers is that God would do something miraculous, changing the team,
Mm-hmm.
and that the team will come back in a supernatural way,
Yeah.
that you might even have multiple teams that go to Africa.
Yes.
Like, you might even have 2 or 3 groups of 18 that want to go because of the passion that has been instilled in the team, and they brought it back with them. We're like, hey, like, you need to go on this mission trip.
I
It is
think
super awesome.
I think it's going to show them too that, because I know it did this for me on the other 2 mission trips I went on, is that I can minister.
Mm-hmm.
I can minister to people I don't know, even though there's a language barrier, and I can love them. And we've got several people on our team that they don't like to speak like in public or be out in front or anything. When you go on a missions team, you're front and center,
Yeah.
and they find out that they can do that.
Yes.
So you're saying they're going to stretch you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Probably when you go over there, they might stretch you a little bit. That in the States, you're kind of like, well, I'm just going to sit on this pew and I'm just going to stay here. But then when you go over there, you're stretched.
Yes.
Yes, you'll be asked to do things that get you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
But you figure out, I can do this.
Yeah. So the way you're describing it, I'm guessing that's probably happened to you.
Oh, yes.
on
Many times.
on the mission trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Number 7. Can anyone donate? Like, if anybody was wanting to donate,
Absolutely.
Can anybody donate on through like social media? How does it all work?
You're better at that.
Well, I hadn't really thought about that.
Or maybe through our church.
Yes, through the Titherly app
Mm-hmm.
thing. I don't know much about it, but I know somebody donated water filters through that.
Okay.
So they can go however you do that, to our church, and they can donate and just designate that it's for missions.
Okay, awesome. And something about the filtration system. What is it, and I mean, how does it affect that community?
Okay, in Rwanda, the water there, most of the people take these 5-gallon plastic cans and go to creeks or ponds or lakes or wherever, ditches, and get their water. And that's what the water they use to bathe in, to cook in, to drink. Okay, and waterborne illnesses is the #1 killer of children in Africa. Okay, well, they have come up with a water filtration system there that is very simple. The little filter lasts for 5 years, and for $75 you can buy one of these that will keep kids alive. It will give them hope, you know.
And how long do they last?
They last for 5 years.
5 years.
Tell
So
them.
for $75, you can purchase one of these, and it'll
And they can take that
help
same
for
water they're
5
getting out of the ditches. They go and get the water still, but they pour it in there, and it filters all the bad stuff out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, if they're getting stuff out of ditches and rivers, and there's no telling what.
There's no,
what kind
yeah,
of- what kind
right,
of stuff's in there.
yeah.
Yeah. And on the flip side too, when you have one of those that can minister in a way like, hey, Jesus is the living water.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
there is a side of
Where you-
ministry. Like if you do want to focus in on that
We're
side.
meeting their compassion.
But
for
yeah,
it.
you're just meeting people's needs.
Yes.
I mean, there's a need there, and so do you want to say how many water filters we got?
Last number I heard is we have 117.
117.
So we're doing a VBS, and
Uh-huh.
they're bringing kids in that are 50 kids in that are not sponsored. Okay, and we get to give each one of them a filtration system to take back home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then when they take us out into the villages, like when we go do home visits or the Jesus movie or whatever, or the remaining ones of them we get to hand out
Right. We get to
wherever
distribute.
we happen to go.
So you're saying that many people are going to be
And
impacted.
many
Impacted.
families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now quality of life greatly
Okay.
bettered.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
So I don't know if we've ever talked about this. How do they get the water filters over there? Are they manufactured there? Or
I don't know that part of it, but I think they are. I think they might have been manufactured there in the capital city, Kigali.
and
yes.
then they just transfer them to Rwanda.
Right. We
when
don't
the
have
team-
to transport
when the team
them.
comes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They will go.
They go to the city and get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, explain how if someone's watching this video, explain how someone can go on a mission trip if they were interested. Like, what would be the first steps that you would think to take to go on a mission trip?
Get your passport.
Passport.
Get your
That's a
passport.
main,
First thing, passport.
Passport,
Okay.
because it takes a while to get it. So
Okay, so even if you're like thinking,
Maybe
I
someday.
might, maybe someday,
Yeah.
just get your passport.
Get your passport.
Because it's good for
10
10
years.
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next important thing is, by all means, you need to be a born again believer,
Okay.
and you need to be faithful in a church,
Yes.
and then and have a heart for people. And then, like, if you wanted to go with us, you just through the church or I don't know, you get a hold of us and we take down your information and
So
we
you'd be
start
leading
working.
in that direction.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have a heart to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a good one would be just getting plugged in to Fairland First Assembly, right?
Yeah, it
Sure.
would.
So
It
getting
would,
plugged
yes.
in.
Because this is a missions church.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. I want to say the number's 30. How many missionaries do we support?
Over 100.
No.
No, do we not?
I thought it was
we did.
30.
No, we've like 30 on a monthly
thought it was-
deal. Yeah, about
Okay.
30 something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
33, I
I
think.
thought it was more.
32. I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that right there just speaks volumes of the pastor of the church and his heart for missions.
Right.
You know, because there's some bigger churches that aren't
don't.
given even half
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
So this will be the final question. It's not really a question. It's just what's a good, just funny story that you can kind of leave for the viewers that, I mean, stuff's gonna happen on mission trips.
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
yes.
It's going to happen, and I mean, you kind of just gotta like laugh it off and like that was funny, but you can always bring those stories back, with you.
Before we go there, I did want to say I was thinking about this a few days ago that I never ever in my life imagined that I would go anywhere outside the States to go on a missions trip. And well, I didn't even think I never thought about it, even like being able to go anywhere to travel. So it's amazing. It's really amazing, and you get to go with a group of people that you become really close to.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And it's exhausting. It's hard work, and it's extremely fulfilling and a lot of fun. And so then you had one. I think the original funny story you were going to tell, I think after how Mitchell led into that, you could.
The one from Chile.
Yeah.
When we went, it was the last day we were there, and the missionary we was there with took us downtown Santiago, shopping and stuff, to see the city and stuff. Well, they were having riots downtown, and all of a sudden they told us to get in buildings back away from the street, and they were tear gassing the streets, the rioters and stuff, and we got in the middle of that. Okay, and so that's a story that we will never forget. We got tear gassed on a missions trip.
And we lived
that story kind of sounds familiar
Yeah.
because I think I was there.
Yeah.
I think you were.
Yes.
We couldn't find you, but you were
Yeah,
there.
I was there somewhere. Me and my wife were there somewhere.
You might have been in the rioters group. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like, what's this?
And then when we went to Uruguay, we stayed at a Bible school,
Okay.
and the missionaries would go home at night, and we were left there with the staff. And they didn't speak English, and we didn't speak Spanish, and so we had some communication, challenges. Well, the last day we were there, the lady that cooked dinner for us every day, we gained weight on this missions trip. The food was so good. She was an amazing cook, and everybody wanted to take her home. She was a sweetheart. She couldn't speak any English at all, and we wanted to fix something different for breakfast. And so we asked them, can we fix breakfast? And we went to the store and we got stuff to make French toast and make bacon strips, because they take the bacon and chop it up into little cubes and put it in stuff. And so we're all up bright and early, and we're in the kitchen, and I can't find the eggs. And I'd worked a few days before cleaning in the kitchen, and I knew exactly where the eggs were, and I went and they weren't there. And so we're looking all over the kitchen. Well, what was her name? Maria?
Yeah.
She comes in, and we're trying to ask her where the eggs are, and we're just not communicating. We're just not, and I'm trying to do hand things, and I'm like, eggs, and she's just looking at me like, and so I just went, and reached back here and pulled an egg, and she just died laughing. And I hear her later, I hear him in the kitchen, and she's telling all the rest of the staff about it, because I heard her going, bah, 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 bah.
That's funny.
So it was just a lot of fun, because we couldn't communicate, so we had to find ways to get the point across.
For sure. But you made a connection.
Yes.
Like you made a connection,
Yeah.
even though you didn't speak,
Yeah.
the same language, you still made a connection.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's so cool, and just, I mean, when you go on mission trips, is you bring back stories with you, and it's a testimony, right? You share, your faith. You share like what God is doing even overseas.
Yeah.
And when you go, you think you're going to minister.
Yeah.
But you come back having been
Filled up.
ministered to much more
You bet.
than you gave. You come back filled, yes.
For sure. For sure.
Recommend it to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody needs to do it at least once.
To go on a mission trip.
Mm-hmm.
To go on a mission.
Yes.
Well, guys, you heard it. If you guys want to go on a mission trip, get plugged in to a church, local church. Ours is here in this community, Fairland First Assembly. And, I mean, if you want to go on a mission trip, I'm sure this team is going to probably be taking more people in the future and multiple mission trips and stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed, and want to see you on the next one. Thank you.